take it slow. Heart sets another tone, and I hate getting vulnerable, but you can have my whole soul. And we're not holding back. Any hesitance sees me hide. You hold the key and I'm on track. You took way to me and that's nice. Hard to say it, but that's where I'm at. We're burning the rubber and biting the dust. There's nothing to it, I'm starting to feel the rush. Starting to feel the rush. Now we're in overdrive, overdrive, overdrive. Now we're in overdrive, overdrive. Second gear into overdrive, overdrive, overdrive.
One. Boom. And we are live on Saturday night on a Monday night. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I hope you are all having a pleasant start to your week. We are here to get started working on stuff together as well. You got 5/7 of the PinForge team on this call. We are missing
the better
2
5/7.
slackers. No, they're good. They're good. They got prior engagements. They may or may not join, but we got the team nonetheless. Work on my speech skills here tonight too. Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. Made good progress over the weekend. Oh my god, I just noticed Kyle's name.
Yeah, I snuck that one in there.
Yeah, you did. You sneaky little devil. Barrels of Kyle is taking over a company, apparently.
Mud Flaps Pinball. I'm the CEO, owner, and founder. Not only am I the owner, I'm also a client.
Kyle, there is nothing
I
on
did
your
my
paper.
homework. I did it. I wrote it down here. I didn't type it out. I wrote it.
So we did have homework.
Say, I didn't come here with a mode, but
I did.
Just an idea that I think would be super good. So we'll share that at the right time. But I'll get partial credit because I'll be the one saying it to you guys. So that's kind of like I helped make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. She says I brought her, so therefore that gets me the credit.
So when you say that you brought an idea, you mean that this idea just came to you in the last 10 minutes when your helpers reminded you that you had homework to do for tonight?
No, it was like an hour ago.
A dog is like, let me
You're
out.
not a guy who never did homework ever. I did it like in class as the teacher's rolling in. So this is right on. This checks out.
Once
Perfect.
the sugar from the Starburst hit his brain, that's when it triggered some memory. Like, oh my god, I got things I gotta do.
My dog waited till just this moment to need to go out. So you guys carry the conversation for 30 seconds.
All right, let's awkwardly keep this going while we wait for our ringleader to
Take
get
over.
back.
So,
Yeah.
I was thinking that in Bootleggers, there are things that you collect. And we were talking about how when you make bourbon, the better bourbon, the closer to the recipe you make it, the better you get bonuses, whatever. And then I was thinking, we get score in pinball, but there's also like achievements and other things that we can collect. And in Avatar, the JJP one, you make shots to get arrows.
So I believe Kyle has. Oh,
I
did
thought
we
Nick
watch it for a
froze.
second?
Shots to get arrowed and then what?
I'm not sure, but it's limited resources is the point. So I was thinking that my mode would use that idea of limited resources, but also when you make the bourbon, you get more of said resource. But Kyle, where are we headed for tonight?
We are headed for tonight going over everybody's homework assignment. I will give you a grade from 1 to 5 stars. 5 stars gets you a Tootsie Roll. A grade of 1 star gets you owing me a Tootsie Roll. So,
Are we talking?
keep that in mind. But yeah. I'm gonna, like, I already wrote down my mode ideas in the Miro, but I kind of want to like skip over my ideas so I don't like subconsciously influence anyone else's ideas. And then I figure let's go kind of like round table. I'll go in order of what I see on the screen from your lovely faces, and we will kind of
No, I
walk
think
through.
we should start with Aaron's idea. Just go with Aaron's idea. I want to hear it.
Yeah, Aaron's idea that he's been thinking about so deeply.
I create an environment where the ideas just flow, So I think I'm actually a little more credit than I was giving myself in the beginning. So maybe this is like mostly my idea now. Okay, so, and I might totally butcher this, so Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong. But the gist of the idea was like, maybe it's a little like sub mode or something where you're trying to like get away or catch somebody. But the idea that you're on a horseback and it's like a little side quest and you're shooting the spinner to like increase the speed of like the galloping away. So it's like you could have the spinner sound be like a clop, 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 and then it starts to slow down to a trot as the spinner slows down and stops. And then you're stopped, and whatever's trying to get you or whatever you're trying to catch is either gaining on you or you're getting away, or it's getting away. But continuing to shoot that's going to keep that sound and that urgency and that tempo up. So it's like kind of the idea of like maybe it's like just a little like quick side quest kind of thing, like somebody got away and you're trying to catch them sort of idea. But that was where we got.
Kentucky Derby.
So, Aaron, that is a perfect segue, and I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert, but the names of our modes and our side quests have to be kind of clever and have to be kind of funny or a play on words. So, Horseback Hurry Up, I think, is a perfect addition to Bootleggers, right? Horseback Hurry Up, which goes perfectly with all the homework that I did here on the sheet, but I don't want to derail. I think that's a fantastic idea, and with a clever name.
Not Kentucky Derby.
That would be cool.
Kentucky Durban? That's not bad.
So when we were originally brainstorming Bootleggers, we had thought of the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, and then going to the horse races and doing the Kentucky Derby. So I think that idea is like a kind of a throwback to that early time, but also like a fun new way to add it into the game.
I like that. And that is a good throwback to kind of where we started this project. Like, we were kind of sitting around brainstorming ideas. Initially, this whole theme started with us talking about, well, like, what if it's modern? You Tootsie Roll jerk. You better send that to me if your ideas are bad. I will be collecting payment. So yeah, we
knows
started.
He can have bad ideas.
Yeah. He came prepared. He already knew the cost. So yeah, the original concept was like a modern day, like, friends touring the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and like visiting different distilleries. And then over the course of the night, as we had a few more whiskeys, we kind of morphed that idea into, let's actually take it back to Prohibition era.
Oh, sorry.
To not fall into fires, but we learned a few things.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's a solid little kind of like side quest hurry up mode, Aaron.
Good job, team. Good job.
Hey,
my friends think it's so cool.
While we're like moving on to other people's ideas, you should see if your team has other ideas they want to throw into the fire, and maybe it'll be cemented in the game.
We don't want them to think they're too special right off the bat. They got to kind of work for it. No, like that's one of the things that I'm learning most about playing in the league with both of them, is that they know rules incredibly well, and that is a big black void in my pinball world right now. So I'm definitely like learning a lot how they string together and layer into the game and stuff like that. So they've been here for the last like 3 or 4 streams we've done, so I feel like they're getting to know the game too. So I'm sure if there's more ideas, they'll come along too.
Solid. All right, I gotta let my dog back in. You guys take over for another 30 seconds.
Dude, who rules that house over there? Jeez, dog. Just chill for.
And Kyle just read us the riot act for he's planning his whole night around this stream, and he's popped off 6 times already, if I'm counting right. 10 times.
Doing some laundry, like put it in the oven. Jeez.
15 times he's already dropped off.
I think that me and the dog are friends. We are not friends. He is a tyrannical overlord.
Who? What?
The dog.
Okay.
His name is Buddy, but he's not your friend.
Hi, buddy. He's the alpha. He knows.
Okay, so my idea, I mentioned it a little earlier, but in a pinball, you get points. Some games have other things you can collect, like Godzilla. You get the loops. You don't really get, I guess, extra points for it. But then JJP, you have arrows in Avatar that you use throughout the game. And I was thinking that if you collect bourbon and you make your bourbon and you get a better percentage of bourbon, say a better yield, you get more bottles. Then you lock the balls into the right candy cane, and you would go into a mode where then you can serve the bottles like Tapper or like the Dead Eye in Kong, but you're actually using the flippers. So the mode is where it drops a ball down to your flippers and you have to make a shot to serve a customer. And it would go through that, and you would have to serve all the customers with, say, 6 balls, and we can feed balls from the trough into the candy cane lane with our skill shot. So I think that we can keep that going. And it would be like a hurry up skill shot, like super wizard, but like you depending on how good you've made the bourbon is how many shots you're allowed to make for this mode. So say your bourbon is run of the mill and you only get 3 balls, but say your bourbon's top tier and you get 6 or 10 balls to finish this mode out. But I think that like when you go to bottle your bourbon barrel, you get so many bottles, so then you get to serve it out to your customers. I thought that like the limited resources idea, like with the payoff, it would be fun. I guess it's technically more tied into the storyline, but it's
How do you get from the launch into the candy cane?
So think have you played Totan?
Yeah. The
So,
snakes, right?
We're gonna have like a little tiered skill shot there, where if you like soft plunge, it's gonna go into the candy cane. Is that correct, Kyle?
Yeah, the intent is to have that kind of a mechanism where if you soft plunge, you can drop it into the candy cane, like short of the the up post, and then there's going to be a second one that drops in above the up post that can like store a lock, and then another like medium plunge that gets past the candy cane lane and into like the right orbit that can like dump out, and then a full plunge goes all the way around to the left upper flipper.
Okay, got it.
And
but the 2 short drops aren't controlled like by gating mechanisms. It's just by power.
By plunge,
power.
yeah.
So yeah, like if we had to refeed that candy cane lane, we could just do a auto plunge at like whatever 30% and drop it in there if we need to.
And I was thinking like Tapper is an all-time classic game, and I think that like bourbon and like you make the bourbon, you take it to the speakeasy, Ernie's back door, and then you serve your customers at the end. I think it would be a fun mode.
Now, how do you feel about like this serving your customers mode being something where, okay, so now you've like locked up your 3 balls in that right candy cane lane or whatever, and now you have 3 bottles ready to serve to customers. Are those like you get 1 flip of a flipper per time it feeds a ball to like try to hit the shot, and if it misses,
that's
ball
interesting.
Drains, and then it feeds you the second one and you try again.
Yeah. That's the intention.
Let's say the quality of your bourbon is enough to warrant you 10 attempts at that shot, then we could feed more balls into that candy cane lane, allow you 1 flip per shot to try to hit that shot until you're out of attempts.
That's the intention, yes.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one. Regarding so how does this kind of tie back to like the arrows in JJP Avatar? I kind of missed that connection.
So the arrows, it's like a limited resource that you get to spend. So in JJP you collect arrows and then you use them to make shots. I don't know if they're like you get more value when you use the arrows or something, but in the arrows you run out of arrows and you have to go collect them again. It's like you use them up. So I was thinking it's a limited resource. Like in a lot of pinball games, like there's alternative stuff that you collect in a game, but then you don't really use it towards something. It's never like a limited resource that like goes away.
Okay, so what if it's more like as you make bourbon with Pappy's recipe, you earn X amount of shots at that mode. So I guess like the quality or something or the age could equal more yield.
Or maybe how many barrels we get back after we fight the mafia. There's a payoff and a reward somehow.
Yeah, because you also don't want to take the player out for too long.
Ooh.
You don't want to be doing like 10 shots.
Yeah, so maybe I got this. So every ball you lock is every barrel that you save from the Mafia in the candy cane, and that's part of like a sub mode. And then depending on how many barrels you lock in the speakeasy, is say like each ball in the speakeasy during that mode gives you like 3 shots or something.
Yeah.
And so if you
Yeah,
lock 3 balls, you
quality
get
base.
9 shots. And if you lock
Yeah.
2 barrels, you get 6 shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say for each ball locked in candy cane during qualification.
Yeah, and that'll be the jackpot shot
Close.
during the like fight the mafia mode, or like there should be like a multi-ball where you drain the truck drains and it gives you a 3-ball multi-ball, and then you have to lock the balls in the candy cane for your jackpot shot, and then afterwards you get the bonus round of like launching them all out, and then we can relock as many as we want after, I guess, depending on how
Okay.
we want the modes to go.
Yeah, so this could even be like something that is stapled on at the end of like some other grander mode as like your victory laps, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking of it as like a pseudo wizard mode, where it's kind of hard because you have to make the shots with one, like as the balls are coming, and you got to like go for it, you know. But all these shots are worth like a lot of money because you finally get the payoff because now you have paying customers.
So refining a little bit, I think, 3 shots, we'll see. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's quality of barrel dependent.
Yeah,
stage
the number
of the
doesn't
game.
matter.
So I think we can play with this. I had my first of like the 3 different ideas I wrote down is exactly this, except a lot less, because I didn't have any concept of like you could plunge to capture back into the candy cane. And I didn't have like the story theming around it. So yeah, I like this. I think it's doable.
Sweet. Well, and I think this
Nice.
is maybe a good segue into your idea then, Nick. Or, oh my god, my brain. Alex.
Yeah, no, it's the same as this. It's fine. We
Okay.
don't need to talk about it again. It was, if you're in a multi-ball and you lock 3 balls in the candy cane, then there's like a put 'em up, knock 'em down, something like that framing.
Ooh, bar fight or something. I don't know.
Well, that
So
was about shots or bowling.
I was thinking like depending on, or you could lock the balls in the candy cane, and then you could go and hit like a scoop, and then you could choose the mode on what you want to do with those, like whether you want to like do the mode that I presented, or maybe Alex's like knock 'em up and shoot 'em down mode, or something else.
Yeah,
It could be fun.
it was going to be like lock the 3 in the right, shoot the vuck or the jail. Either way, that's a capture. Release the next ball, do the same thing. Last ball, maybe it's different shots because I don't need to capture the 3rd ball. You get all 3, then you get like a 6-ball multi-ball or something. So it's
like
the
that.
same idea.
Yeah, I mean, this to me is kind of like reminiscent of like Star Trek Next Gen and like the cannon skill shot, and like you could try to like sequentially hit X amount of shots into the scoop or one of like the drops into the subway, and it would feed you another one to like hit X amount in a row. I think that's a fun idea.
I really like the you get 1 flip, but I also know players will fuck that up.
Which is fine. They'll learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe like a timer for each ball, like where they can kind of post pass it over and try to get the other shots. Maybe like we'll feel that out.
We can ramp the difficulty or make settings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fair.
But along with modes to inserts, I was thinking, or I guess for each shot we have a character insert associated with that, because there's like 7 or 8 main characters and there's 7 or 8 main shots. And then as we serve the characters or we serve our customers, you know that their little insert lights up for the mode.
That's cool.
You could even like go as far as putting some like stupid like secret like big ass bonus in it where if you have maybe 8 total characters that are hittable off the bottom flippers and you have enough balls locked up that gets you 9 attempts at completing all 8 characters, if you complete all 8, like that's a big bonus or something.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe we can cancel out each ball if it hits a switch. So if it hits a stand up, or if it hits a drop, or if it hits something, then the ball drains and it goes to the next one.
So we could do like the first registered switch that is not a slingshot, not a flipper, but like an inlane, a target, a orbit, a ramp, anything of that nature will then disable flippers.
Yep.
That could work.
And then I was thinking, you know, the movie the movie, the game Strikes and Spares, where you hit the action button to feed you a ball. I was thinking that might be a fun addition to the game, where you kind of like hit the action button for the next ball, so you're like kind of ready for it.
Okay.
And then it kind of takes your hand off the button, so you have to like hit it and then go back really quick to like serve up the.
Do we have an action button in this game?
We
We can do whatever we want.
We can have 3 action buttons.
We do now, Aaron.
No,
We're gonna add the pen bar.
Well, I was gonna say, like, that's probably the hardest thing to get for people building it. So we need to get a hookup for that, Mister.
Okay.
Not the button, but the lockdown bar with the cutout and everything.
Yeah.
But that is that's a good
Rather
point.
than just using
And
the launch button.
we can code it to double flip or use a launch depending on the mode.
Yeah, I like
fair.
the launcher start button works.
Okay, let's go with that, just so we don't have a complicated bomb trying to find a
Yeah, agreed.
specific lockdown bar.
Real plunger, because I was hearing soft plunge before, but now we're going launch button.
Well,
We were gonna have
start.
both.
Start button, double flip, whatever.
So
I
Friday
thought-
13th doesn't have a lockdown, so you do modes with the start button or the double flip. Big Trouble, it's all
Oh.
it's everything. So I wanted to make it pretty dummy proof for the player.
Cool.
Okay.
You can code whatever you want.
How do you use the start button for one on the first ball?
Do what now?
How do you use the start button as the action button when you're on ball one of player one? Because that would start another player.
So there's a line in MPF where you can say blah blah blah, not something. So I like even if you're player one, ball one, if you're in a certain mode, the start button will not add a player, and you can. There's a line for that. I forgot what.
Yeah,
it
we
was.
can unhook that logic
Cool.
temporarily.
Cool. Yes. Okay. Solid idea, Nick. When you
Thank you.
came into the Discord earlier saying that you have like this idea of a century that's gonna blow our minds, I was like, it's just Nick. He's high on energy drinks right now.
Probably a 3D print something. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yep. But no, I love that. That's a really cool idea.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
credit to Alex, because he also had the same idea, but he didn't also know our skill shots either. So it's cool how like different people on different sides of this country can come together with different ideas and they can be the
Right?
same. How cool.
Oh, okay. And
Great
drink.
minds think alike.
Get a
didn't-
room.
I didn't want to call you two geniuses, but guess we're going there. Cool.
Who's next?
I guess that leaves Smut.
So stop me if you heard this one right, but when I walk up to the game,
Dude walks into a bar. Sorry.
dude
wants
walks
a
into the
drink.
bar. So yeah, so I'm a very traditional rule thinker, right? So there's modes, there's side quests, there's multi-balls and achievements, right? So you battle your way through the game with the modes. There's all kinds of side quests. You have to unlock trophies or achievements, and then there's a final wizard mode, right? So what I do is I think of the name of the mode first, because if you have a new player, and I would argue that the majority of people playing this game will likely have, they see it at a show. Hopefully we want people to have this game in their house, right? But if you have somebody who just wants to play it, they don't know the whole backstory. They don't know all the cool things we're doing. The only thing that they see is the name of the mode. So to me, I come up with the name of the mode first, and the mode just kind of writes itself in my brain. So this to me is kind of a tongue-in-cheek, funny, adventure, action, comedy, teamwork game. So I'm gonna go through some of the names of the modes and some of the names of the side quests. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you quantity and not quality. So not all these are winners, right? They ain't all gonna be winners, but there might be one or two diamonds in the rough. All right, modes. Flat tire. Like, yeah, you're driving, you get a flat tire. What happens? There's rattlesnakes, or there's something that pops up. That's not a funny title, but you can see it in your mind. Shootout at the KO Corral, right? Not the OK Corral. Shootout at the KO Corral. Inbound to the outhouse, right? You got to go with. You've been drinking bourbon all day, and there's a rattlesnake, and or just something silly. Inbound to the outhouse. Bar fight. I think we've all said that like 100 times, but come on. I mean, there has to be a bar fight in this game. Tipsy turvy. So that's either a mode or a side quest or just kind of a funny call out. Jailbreak, duh. Anytime a game has a jail, like, and you're in jail, you want to break it. I mean, come on. Grain grab. So we're collecting grains, right? Just maybe a funny, silly name for that. Bartender bash. Horseback hurry up. I thought of that all by myself with no help, and nobody thought of that except for me. And that's it. I do like Alex's Kentucky Durban. I think that's pretty clever. Barely Barley and Sky High Rye. You guys have come up with some really cool modes, and I mean, sure, we can come up with rules for, if you hit this shot, then the ball's going to do this, and then your flippers will die and all this kind of stuff. But to me, it starts with the name of the mode, getting the tone right, for your core number modes, and 5, 6, 7 core modes. And what this does is get you from square one to the end. So you start and you're on the journey to go get Pappy's recipe. Along the way, you collect the characters, you fight the feds, Al Capone is out to get you, and then you have your final battle with Cooter McGee, right? That's the journey. And along the way, what are the adventures that you're having? Those are the core modes. But to me, the moments are with the side quests and the multi-balls. So when I say moment, like where there's the marriage of the LCD and the lights and the shaker and the sound and the call outs and that kind of stuff, those are the moments. So I love the idea of the hurry up, and all the little clever, not innuendos, but clever wordplay without being punny factory, right? Clever wordplay to get us to the end goal. That's how I think about this. So, there you go. But all the mode ideas you guys have are just spot on for sure.
I think there's a lot of good stuff there, and what it makes me want to do is like put like a start and an end to like the game journey, and like figure out what of those, because some of those things sound like main story moments, but it doesn't sound like enough of them. So like I think we actually need a big dump of this, like this of what are those story moments and how do we want to structure the progression of the game. Some of those also sound like recipes, because I think we need to do that too. Is if you're going to iterate on the bourbon a few times, like Barely Barley sounds like the tutorial, like first drink, like first thing that you're making, right? Barely Barley has that feeling of like starting out.
True.
I like where Alex is going with this, and to another point is a lot of our modes are like very linear, where you have to do a mode to then get to the next mode to get to the next mode. And I was thinking, how can we kind of diversify that to where it's not super linear? Because a lot of things in pinball aren't linear exactly. I guess, getting to the wizard mode is, you have to do a few things before you get there. But along the way, you can do modes in any certain order. I think the grain grab would go, at the start of the list. But back to modes and inserts. Think about what we're not necessarily the shot, but what we're trying to do with that mode. Like bar fight, we could use our barrels or our drinks. Tipsy turvy again. a certain amount of drinks. The jailbreak has the inserts on the drop targets. The grain grab has the inserts on the targets. Bartender bash. Does that need any extra inserts? Maybe Bartender Bash is a fun multi-ball when we collect the bartender character. The horseback hurry up. We do have some inserts around the spinner that could signify that. Kentucky Durban, unsure. And then Barely Barley. Maybe we have some inserts in the middle of the playfield that kind of show the amount of grains you have for each like one, where there's a corn, barley, and rye, and you kind of like can visually see your stockpile growing, because I know that's going to be a really big part of the game.
Which one is the drunk flipper mode?
Oh, and there you go, Tipsy Turvy, probably.
So I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because I really like games that make you do odd things and make you look ridiculous. So there's the Pain Box with Dune.
Yeah.
There's Oktoberfest, where it's like the one-handed, you control the flippers with only one hand, but I'd like to go one further, right? So imagine a mode where you have to hold in both flipper buttons. And to activate the flipper, you have to use a lockdown bar or the start button. How do you do that? With your face or your knee? So you're going to look ridiculous trying to bash the flipper button with your chin, or put your foot up there, or like the start button with your elbow, just something so dumb, but you have a ball save, so it's not like a cheap drain kind of a thing, right? But I enjoy those kinds of silly moments.
That's amazing. That needs to happen. For the record, I use my gut for action bar.
Right, and you're going to have some
happy
huskier players who may do that, and that's fine.
I think we get.
Or
some
you
of
have a
those,
friend
like,
come in, like you have to do this, and your friend has to. So that no kidding, you have to involve another player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like in terms of like a button that you could hit with your knees, like one of those like really big like buttons that you could put like maybe like two of them on the front of the cabinet, like to the right and
Greek
left of
gods
the coin
had that.
door, and then you gotta
That's what
get your
thank
knees
you.
up there.
Yeah, Greek Gods had one. That was the magnet save or something on the.
Yeah, it was a way to
area.
activate one of the pop bumpers or a slingshot. So he had like a giant kind of softball sized
Yeah.
button. It wasn't super intuitive,
We should
but
make
it
ours
was
harder
fun.
to hit.
right?
I
It
think
was really fun.
Can it hit back? Can it hit us?
Not at
That-
your crotch level, my God.
That was his next game.
This is just like taking me down memory lane with Pinball Olympics. Like I feel like we're going down that avenue with other ways to actuate flippers.
Yes, and that's not the whole game, right? But that's just a little fun. Like, did you play that game where you gotta like use your gut to hit the dude? Or
Right.
It's fun stuff.
What
Yeah.
I've got is it's designated driver mode, where you are holding both because you're drunk and you got to hold on, and somebody else has to press buttons that are not physically within reach. You have to have somebody else.
That's great. That's great.
Could we link the two games together for that mode?
Yeah. The Bootleggers buddy system.
I put
Friends
that
don't
one
let
down.
friends play drunk.
I like the
Dude,
designated driver mode. I think that's cool.
that's
You know
clever.
what? Maybe you have to
Real.
hold the start button and the launch button down for the flippers to work. Or maybe, you hold the start button for the left flipper and the launch button for the right flipper to work. That would be fun, where you have to like hit the buttons and like...
No, just keep pushing the coin max. Like, let's do that.
Oh no.
We got
And,
options.
and you have to engage the tilt for the game to stay alive. So imagine holding both flipper buttons with your elbow and you're just spazzing out.
Hold on a second. That is one thing I have wanted to do in a game, where you're wanting to intentionally tilt. I'm sure that's been done before.
Motorhead did that.
Yeah, like, yeah, okay, that's right. I knew it was in something, but like to take advantage of like the swinging of it would be kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. You want somebody to be concerned that you either need to go to the hospital or you're having a great time.
It's odd how close those two things coincide.
Right.
All right. Solid stuff. Alex,
Good stuff.
So something somebody said a couple minutes ago fed into my third idea, so I'm going to talk about that first. Over on the right, there's it says grain multipliers. So we can do playfield multipliers. We can skip playfield multipliers. Either way, whatever. It's easy to code, right? We could also have multiplying or scaling features or bonuses based on how much of a grain you've collected instead of multipliers. So you have 4 different categories that you're scaling. I don't know what the bonuses are, and I don't know whether this even makes sense, but you know, like if you scroll down below, there's like, you know, the standard kind of things you might get, which are like, oh, you're scaling a ramp multiplier or orbits or targets or combos, whatever, right? Like split the playfield multiplier into the 4 grains and have them have categories of scaling.
I like that a lot because our stand-ups in front of the ramps are corn, the targets to the side are rye, and then wheat and barley could be maybe orbits or ramp shots, and then we could split it really nicely.
Yeah. There was, but what made me think of it a couple minutes ago was something about some sort of scaling indicator or something, where I was thinking like, oh, instead of a single like what I was originally thinking is it's a single insert, maybe there's a couple lights under it, and you're scaling the brightness or changing the color based on the amount. You could also do a long tube shaped insert where it's actually like a stockpile building up, and so it still has 3 or 4 lights along it. But instead of it being a circle that's just getting more red or whatever, which is what I did in Trogdor, it's scaling up, or, you know, and we can change the color or not, but you know, however you want to represent the scaling, it's fun.
Yeah, we were hoping to get like an idea of how many inserts that we needed, and then feed that to the artist for his artistic flair. So. But giving him ideas like this is good too.
Yeah, and I mean, also the grains could also scale differently or be represented in scaling differently. But it's, for the player's sake, it's nice to be consistent.
I like that as well, where maybe it gives you more grain, but also more points as well.
Yeah, just because we might, you know, it might be that wheat is measured in a much more granular system than the others. Something, and so it makes sense to represent differently.
Yeah, I like the idea of different grains having different like base values associated with them, and then the quantity of those grains that you have, depending on like how difficult it is to collect, can affect the multiplier of that grain value. So like barley, if we have the drop bank of 3 and the stand-ups of 3 on the right side that spell out barley, you know, that's 6 things you got to hit to complete to spell barley. Maybe the the base value of barley per grain is higher, and maybe your multiplier for every time you complete that set is higher as well. But it's a lot harder to get because it's kind of off to the right side. It's kind of like an errant shot off of the spinner. Whereas like your corn could be like pretty low base value and pretty low like multiplier, but like as that stacks up for corn, it could be pretty high value for like someone who bricks shots and hits targets all the time. I like the idea of like you can balance out the scoring of these different grains based on where they are, how easy they are to hit, and how you want those multipliers to factor in.
And so if you want to make pure bourbon, you need to avoid some of the grains too, because like I guess the pure bourbon is just corn and rye. Yes, so you don't want any wheat.
I don't know like where we have wheat represented on the play field. Maybe that is something where it's just like tied to main shots or something, or I don't know. Yeah. Like where my head was going for the grains is you've got the 4 stand-ups for corn. On the rotating platter on the left side, there are 3 targets that could represent rye. And then on the right side, you got the drop bank and the 3 stand-ups that could represent or spell barley. Wheat, I don't have a place for yet.
You know the that game, Oregon Trail, you have died of dysentery. If we put a big-ass agave target right in the middle and you hit it accidentally, the game dies and it says, you have made tequila. Game over.
No,
so you don't want that agave target. You got to avoid it.
Kyle, 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila tilt.
There you go. Go drink your tequila in shame in the corner.
Solid.
I love
Alex,
the
what other
hero.
ideas do you want to talk through?
The other one that I had is in the middle there, chase mode. This is sort of based on stuff people were talking about, I think, last week, where there was sort of like shots that had different risk percentages assigned to them through insert display. And so this is like, oh, you're in a chase. Either you're chasing somebody down or maybe the cops are after you. And I guess the inserts could indicate through green, yellow, red, or whatever.
Ooh, yeah.
Or the stars that we talked about.
So
Whatever difficulty representation, where it's not about the physical difficulty of the shot, right? It's about the choice of, do you want this one or that one? And then just, there's 2 or 3 shots probably at a time, and it just kind of, this is really just a diagram of the algorithm of like,
Yeah.
you roll and you either get a strike or you're out or whatever, or you re-loop and you get bigger bonuses.
So when you light those 2 or 3 shots, would you indicate the risk level for the shot with color, or would you let it be anonymous until you hit it?
No, I think that this is like the player has to choose, like if you were actually being chased and you're driving, right? You think about a chase scene in an action movie. It's like, oh, do I go on the highway or do I turn down this little alley thing and fly over some dumpsters, right?
Yep.
So
I like that.
I think you're presented with the choice you're making, because I'm not going to pay enough attention as a player to remember, oh, the third shot has this or this option, and this was the high risk one. No, you've got to show before.
Yeah, and when it comes to like the grander scheme of things, when we're talking about like risk and like, I have, when we get to my ideas, like I feel like risk is some sort of like an overarching measure where, like in this mode that you have, for example, if you accidentally hit like a high risk shot, that like earns you like credit towards qualifying a jailbreak mode. Or like in some of my modes where like, again, risk is represented with red or whatever. If you hit those bad shots, like that incrementally starts to increase the meter to qualify a jailbreak mode, and then once you get to a jailbreak mode, like you are forced to play that mode only and like earn your way back into like
Sure.
play.
I really like that, because we've been talking about risk, and it's like, besides a natural risk reward shot where, say, it's a dangerous shot that goes down the out lane or down the middle, like how do we represent a risk or reward in the mode?
Yeah.
I like that a lot, Kyle. That sounds really cool.
I think when we have like this mode with Alex, like it's not just like this mode with Alex, but other modes, we can incorporate that element of risk to each of those modes by indicating, by shot color, which is going to be higher risk, which is going to be lower risk. Lower risk earns you more points. Higher risk earns you more like chance of getting put in jail.
Sure, yeah. I think this was talking more of like a shot for shot, whether you're like striking out, getting through something, and you're talking about more of a longer, overarching like GTA stars that you're building up, and that's good too.
I think those kind of work in tandem together, though. Like this mode that you have here can be shot for shot, right? But also at the same time, you are accruing like more risk percentage that'll eventually land you in jail if you hit bad shots.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha. So do you have an idea for that? Let's hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
Kyle, your turn.
Okay, so my mode brainstorming. So the first mode that I have is called Evade the Heat. So the primary shots in this mode are going to be your speakeasy. So your left vuck, your like rear vuck that actually loads the truck, but we can figure that out later, and then the right fish hook or candy cane. So when you start this mode, a particular speakeasy shot will be selected to be like the hot zone. And so as the timer progresses, that hot zone starts to radiate like heat, as in more and more shots around that vuck turn red and expands further out. So if you hit those red shots, it earns you like more risk percentage, right? But your goal is to shoot one of the other Vucks to move the heat away from the speakeasy that's currently in play. So when you shoot this other Vuck, that radiating heat now moves to another location and starts over and starts to like expand out from that speakeasy. And then if you hit like 3 speakeasies, then like the mode is over. You've successfully evaded the heat. But as you're playing that mode and you shoot these red shots, that is building towards like your threat level to where you're going to end up having to play the jail mode, right? So that's mode number 1. Mode number 2, again, go ahead.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of Dune when you're fighting the sandworm, when you shoot a shot and it kind of like hears that ball like in the sand, and the worm moves towards where you're shooting. But yeah, this is cool. I think that maybe increasing the heat gives you maybe a jackpot on that Vuck potentially. But yeah, you can go to the next one now.
Yep. Okay. So the next one is called Midnight Delivery. And this is your primary shots are going to be ramps and speakeasy shots. And so shooting the ramps is where you're going to collect barrels. And this is essentially like your whiskey run or whatever, that you're going to be picking up barrels and then delivering them to various speakeasies to collect cash. And that cash affords you improvements to your vehicle. So some of the risk in this mode is there's going to be a roving local cop shot. If you hit that roving shot, again, your threat level goes up, right?
You get pulled over.
Yep. But like if you earn cash through this mode, one of like the game-wide benefits that your vehicle could have is now that roving shot moves a little bit slower from shot to shot. So you can be a little bit more effective in planning your next shot. And then so you're collecting these barrels, and then that is like accruing the point value, and then you cash out by shooting to one of the speakeasy shots, whether it's the left Vuck or wherever. And then it's kind of like a risk reward thing. You can keep trying to push your luck, keep trying to accrue the points, and then cash it out as speakeasy.
Within that vein, maybe our points should just be money, and then your jackpot shot is you're cashing in a big barrel of bourbon, and it counts for the jackpot, which is a big pile of cash.
Right. Well, and then I think when you have cash, maybe that's where we kind of incorporate into wherever like the mystery or whatever shot is, that you can then spend that cash to make improvements to your vehicle that give you some sort of game-wide modifier. And I listed a few there where, like, in this mode, you could have expanded capacity in your truck. So every time you hit a ramp shot, you collect a few more barrels than base level. Or that roving cop shot moves a little bit slower. Or lower chance of breakdown, which I don't know what that means yet, but it could be something. Aaron, you have your hand up?
Yeah, it was mostly I just wanted to see what that did when I pushed the button. But but my suggestion was going to be, could we have something extra special happen if you're in the midnight delivery mode at the stroke of midnight?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, cool. I think that'd be cool.
I mean, don't look. Alex might hate me for saying that, but yes, we can do that.
Aaron, maybe if you make 12 shots, you hit midnight, and then
but full shot at the stroke of midnight, like money should just come out of the game, like real money.
I think I can look up
Or
the system
fast forwards.
time.
bourbon redemption.
We should talk, Alex, because there's a real time clock in the Neuron. So if there's a battery in that, like we can track the time. It can be set at startup and then called. So even if they
But that's
You have one,
delegating the
a
responsibility of
3208.
the wrong system. Like MPF should own it.
okay, then it can store time when it's off and offline too, and stay up to date.
What is the PC has to.
Okay.
The MPF will do that. It's the computer.
Let's code something super complicated that probably has a 1 in 18 million chance of ever happening.
Yes, let's do
No,
that.
Aaron's only going to play at midnight.
Aaron's only ever awake at midnight. He's a vampire.
He's a midnight bootlegger.
No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
If you need to store real time clock offline, like we have a command, so just as a option. So if you set time, like, and they're not online, like, you can set time that way.
That's cool, but like, it's still like the computer has to do that for its own OS purposes anyway.
Right.
So either way, we can store time. What a day to be alive, guys.
That's a good. So in fact, Jaws, the Jaws topper will adjust color based off of the time. So totally doable.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I don't have a
Yeah,
Jaws nor a Jaws
It's,
topper.
I don't own a topper.
I think toppers are the dumbest thing ever, but the Jaws topper is pretty cool.
I
Look
don't know,
what's
it looks-
behind you,
You
Kyle.
look pretty complete.
Where was there
You
a
have-
spider?
5
It makes it
machines with toppers.
I love
I
toppers.
hate toppers.
Topper. Speaking of that, Bootleggers topper, is that the topic of our next stream?
The only thing Kyle
Yes.
hates more than toppers is money.
I love toppers.
And awards.
I like setting my money on fire. Sue me.
Okay, and then so I'm going to continue down my list here. So when it comes to jailbreak, I don't have like that mode kind of structured out yet with comments, but I think that should be a mode where you're locked out of doing anything else until you play the jailbreak. That's that thought. And then the
Yeah,
other one,
we got to incorporate that somehow, because you're not always going to have a ball locked at the end of your ball, but maybe, locked out of other modes until they play the mode.
Yeah.
I like the jailbreak a lot. I think it should be used, and maybe somehow make it harder, like you have to hit the ball back and forth depending on say you've gained so much risk that you have to hit the ball like back 5 or 6 times before you get it back.
yeah,
But yeah.
agreed. Okay. And then so then I also kind of took a stab at like what does it look like to actually like collect the grain and create our bourbon and then present that batch to Pappy, and how does that integrate into like the overall game structure. So I framed it out by obviously you're collecting grains, so corn being the oblongs, rye being the rotating platter targets on the left, and then barley being the 3-bank and the 6 target, or 3-bank and the 3 stand-ups on the right. And then yeast, you do need yeast to create your mash, and I feel like that would be a good usage of because we had talked about having a saucer in that rotating left platter. You could utilize that saucer to collect your yeast, as well as other things, but that could be where you collect it. And then as you collect more and more grains by completing each of those banks of targets, that accrues enough to give you different recipes. And the way I look at like this recipe book is there's maybe like a matrix of different recipes that you can try throughout the game, and the one that is actually Pappy's secret recipe is like determined at random at the start of the game. So you're trying to find like the right combination to match Pappy's recipe. And then again, this is like a very long sequence of stuff you got to do. So it might be a little bit too much, but I'm trying to find ways to like get the theme integration there. So once you collect the grains, then you got to shoot the candy cane to start distillation. So you got to hit the drop target to imply intent to start the distillation, which means it's up to the player to determine how many grains they want to collect before they try to distill it. And then once you hit that drop target, then there's a timer to actually shoot the fishhook again to start distillation. And then that ball is locked, you get another ball, and then you're going to be shooting the barrel spinner to fill the barrel. Once the barrel is filled up to 100%, countdown timer starts again. There's a lot here that I wrote down in sequence. And then any combos that you make during that countdown of 30 seconds or whatever. So once the barrel's reached 100%, there's a countdown timer. Any combos you make throughout that period determines the age of the whiskey. And then you shoot the Vuck to submit that batch to Pappy to have him test. And then if you get the correct one, that gets you to the wizard mode for the recipe and finding Pappy's secret recipe. Again, there's a lot there to do in sequence, but I feel like if we have, let's say, 9 recipes for you to test throughout the game, and all of this is target-based, it won't be too much to actually accomplish throughout the course of a game, because a lot of it's going to be happening as you just shoot the game and hit targets. Like, you're going to be accruing grains, so it's really up to the player to determine when they want to try to distill it and then fill the barrel and then send it to Pappy.
Aaron had a comment or a question.
I don't love the random recipe idea, because like all of this mixing of things that's when I'm playing. I don't like to have to remember what is it that I'm actually doing here. I feel like if I wanted to, work my way through the game, I would say rather than maybe randomizing the recipe, maybe the things you need for the recipe are just more difficult to get or something,
Yeah,
but I
could be
think
a tiered approach.
Yeah, and I think that also too that makes it less attractive for like tournament players and things like that too, because then it's like a random element into the game where some of those shots might be easier than others to people make or to them make.
I second the randomized a lot. Like pinball is already so random that you're trying to kind of find something in the chaos. I was thinking for each grain, we have three Vucks. We could use each one of those to kind of collect your grain, then you go and collect, and then you hit the Vuck and that collects the grain that way, and then that's what you're going to use for your recipe. So no matter, say you collect 40 corn and gain 40 more, you're not going to use the 40 in the recipe until you like hit that Vuck to collect it.
Allow me to also shit on Kyle's idea. So in Jaws, there was, with the shark hunt, you can pick like Thresher, Hammerhead, whatever, and it's pop, spinner, whatever. So as the player, risk reward, the easier recipes will just yield lower jackpots, and the harder recipes, the more shit you got to do, the higher the jackpot. So
I like that a lot because the better the bourbon, or depending on what recipe we end up making, it could change the game a little bit. Like if you make the perfect bourbon, you get balls.
I see that, Kyle.
Maybe
It's
if you
true,
make
though.
Pappy's secret bourbon recipe, you get a longer ball save on the multi balls or the on certain modes. Or if you make a rye, certain base shots are worth more points or something like that.
Because I mean, it could turn into like, hey, you're in the buck or whatever, and it stops, and you're looking at it, and it's like based on what you currently have, you could make this, or carry on like a craft thing.
I like that a lot, where it kind of tells you where you're at, and then if you want to start the mode or kind of exit and go like do something else.
Be like, oh shoot, if I just shoot one shot 2 more times, I can make this better thing. Like that would be.
How about this? Like you've probably played like RTS games or whatever, where there's like a tech tree that you're unlocking. It's like you could have 3 or 5 base recipes unlocked at the beginning. They're pretty easy. You shoot the Vuck. You don't have it planned. You go, oh, I have 2 of these 3 that I could choose. I don't have enough for the third one. I'm going to do number 2. That then, like, you need to go through like 2 or 3 steps of tech tree of like, oh, I've unlocked a better one. There's some bonus it gives me. Oh, and maybe you still have the random. You don't know at the top. Like, there's 3 different recipes at the top tier. You don't know which one is Pappy's. They all give good bonuses. So there's still a little bit of randomness, but it's only like, oh, I'm going to target the right one, and I'm going to build towards that one. Oh, it wasn't right. Oh, actually, it was the middle one. Okay, so I had to do one per round.
So I was thinking about like doing the grain, doing the barrels, getting it back to the speakeasy, and how like it's very linear. But say, like Alex said, you start with a few basic recipes. So you collect the grain, you make the recipe, and then you can lock a ball to make a barrel in the truck. And then you can like do a grain, try another recipe. It kind of goes back and forth between the grains, the barrels, or like say you unlock a multi-ball mode. But it kind of gives it less of a direct linear approach if you're kind of trying out the different recipes as you go for, okay, collect a few grains, here's a barrel, collect a few different grains, here's another barrel. And then there's like the big, like, oh, you gained a wizard mode, so where you get the multi-ball, which is you got to get the barrels back to the speakeasy to sell them or whatever. Then it kind of triggers that, and so forth and so on. I like where Alex is going to kind of integrates the game flow that way.
Is moonshine that base recipe? Like just garbage.
Okay.
You
That's
drink
garbage.
the moonshine and all the lights go out because you've gone blind.
Yeah, there you go. That's very clever. You have died of moonshine poisoning.
Your wife left you. Oh, sorry. Moonshine.
Oh,
We should
sorry.
have real life events through the game. You have been issued a summons for child support. You have contracted an STI from a dirty outhouse.
That being said, I think we should absolutely go in this vein for like call-outs. Like, you have died of dysentery, needs to be a call-out in our game.
Yes, that's a hard yes, or I walk.
That's not whiskey. That's antifreeze.
The Dateline episode all of a sudden.
Can we please use that as a call-out? That's not whiskey, that's antifreeze. So we need to write these down somewhere.
Well,
That
I
is
feel
pretty
like
funny.
that's something we as a team, like, maybe we need someone on our team to, like, own coming up with, like, or not coming up with all of it, but, like, organizing and documenting callouts. I think we need to start thinking about that now. And then when we get to the point of doing, like, audio and assets, we
should
at
toss
least
this to the
have some
Patreons.
sort of a pattern to follow. Because,
Yeah, we
like,
should definitely.
we're 8 months away from Expo. We need to have like a plan in place for audio and video. And there, that's 8 months. We have a lot of time, but I'm working on trying to get the physical stuff done end of this month so that artwork can start flowing forward with minor physical adjustments after the fact. So after the start of March, it's largely going to shift to code, story, modes, audio, visual. How do we build this game out to be ready for Expo?
They doing any video modes?
Are we going to do any video modes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is so I think a couple of custom game guys have done a video mode. I'm not sure how video mode friendly MPF is. I think you have to kind of get creative with it. Alex, stop me if I'm on crack.
Launch a Godot app.
I can do a video mode just fine if other people are coding other things. If I'm coding lots of things, I can't do a video mode.
Oh, you're doing all this, man. But how much can we put
Okay,
on
there
your
will
plate?
be no video mode.
Yep, no video mode. That could be a 2027 like.
You're also on callouts. Good shot. Way to go.
Fuck this.
Game over.
You hit the target.
So I have
Your
a
head
microphone.
explode.
Should we bring a microphone to like some of the events and record people saying dumb things into the microphone as potential callouts?
Only if
Only
we're
if it's
super
a
drunk.
good microphone. We need
Like-
good audio quality.
Yeah.
After 11:15 at Expo. Just say something stupid.
I
Tell
will.
me how you really feel about Aaron.
What's
I
your
have
least favorite
somebody
fast
that-
game and why?
How do
Can
I
you go over to the right real quick, Kyle?
how do I unsubscribe from this?
Unlike and unsubscribe.
all the new green things to the right? That's all I'm talking about with the recipe thing. There's a
Yeah.
tech tree like that. How we could add another one on each row, make it more complicated. But let the players sort of work their way through. It could be 3 at the final, but you have to kind of choose which way you're going, and you get bonuses along the way, right? Which is why you might
Yep.
choose one side or the other.
I
I
like
love
it a
that
lot.
idea because I do want like Pappy's secret recipe to not be like so scripted that everyone knows what to do every time, but have a little bit of randomness, not complete randomness. And I think this is a really good approach to do that, where like, the final tier, there's only 2 choices and you have a 50% chance of getting Pappy's recipe right. The other 50%, you earned yourself, 20 million in bonus.
Yeah, and we could add 1 or 2 to the first couple rows and like make it a little bit more varied or split. But like I would think that the first couple rows, it's like you show up, you can just pick them. If you like, based on whether you have the inventory, the last 2 rows, like if you want to make it, you have to prepare in advance and then go through a mode that is making it. That's
Yep.
sort of like the first 2 are like, oh, I did the small batch whatever. That gives me a minute of double grain collection, right? And so you might actually choose to make a lower recipe at some point because it actually has a bonus per minute that is useful to you as somebody who is thinking about points.
I like that a lot.
Well, and like some of those bonuses could be things like making a multi-ball easier to qualify a lock, right? Something like that.
Can change the rule.
Yep, yeah. I love that. Cool idea. Cool. So I think we kind of talked through everybody's like mode ideas, which is awesome.
Did you have any more, Kyle? I don't know if we got through all of yours.
We did get through all of mine. I just had those.
A lot of words.
Yeah, a lot of words.
You have another one?
No, I don't have another one.
Jessica has another mode idea she wants to share. Are we into that, or should I tell her?
Shoot.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Go for it.
Come on in.
Okay. We would have like a punishment mode almost, where it's like a mob shakedown, where you have to go to like your bartender, what's his name, Ernie?
Yeah.
And like give him a certain amount of your points, and if you don't give him enough, then he sells you out to the mob, and you end up losing more points anyway.
You could calculate the points, so then you have to make a certain shot. It's a literal risk reward where you bank the points, but if you make the skill shot or something, then you get like 2x or 3x that much points. And if you miss the shot, you lose the points.
Finally, somebody with some creativity. Get Aaron out of the room.
I like that a lot.
That's a great idea.
I like it.
Heck
I don't know
yeah.
how many characters you have, but of course you can do that for all the characters. You have to pay them a certain amount, or so and so sells you out.
Mhm.
Well,
And then-
there is a character
then-
who is a double crosser too, so this could be like a good opportunity to bring that into play.
Well, that person's the most likely to double cross you. You know, like
Love it.
That's what I had.
cool. We're just creating like a whole pinball synergistic environment over here. You know, just like soaking it in and spitting it back out in these little brilliant moments. You know.
Heck yeah. So many
Love it.
moments of brilliantness. Brilliantness. That's a word.
Kyle, click out for a second. I just need to resize something.
I'm just trying to get it. Okay, I'm out.
Thank you. You're good.
You're so welcome.
Nope. Everything's terrible. I'm sorry.
No! Oh,
Don't
jeez.
trust me with anything.
Well, while we have everyone here, I'll show you guys the progress on the CAD. I feel like people might want to see a little bit of CAD progress here.
Yeah.
Let me switch on over. And I have the CAD to a point where
Ooh.
all of the ball guides are created, and I have the DXFs ready to send to send cut send for all the ball guides, all the posts, the targets. Most of the mechs are in here. The cutouts are in place for the horizontal spinner and the rotating platter on the left. So a lot of progress made this weekend, as well as the shooter lane on the right took a little bit of figuring out on how this is going to work, because it needs to get up high enough to get over the power lane feed from the right side. So I have this all designed, ready to go. And this should allow us to do like our tiered skill shot, which will be nice. I was pretty proud of this up here. For the jail, there's like the two little pop-up posts, and because of the mech underneath it, you can't really do anything with optos that stick up from underneath the playfield or anything fancy. So I designed these little clip-in opto brackets that fit on the ball guide itself and sits right centered over where the ball would be staged if it was held up by the forks. And it's really low profile and it looks nice.
I like that a lot, and you don't care about those rivets or whatever hitting the ball, because it's not like a orbit guide where the ball's going to be disrupted anyway.
No, well, and it has press-in hardware too, so like where the ball is actually riding, it's not going to be a problem.
You're right, it's going to be smooth because send cut send is awesome.
Yep, and I also incorporated the snubber mount as well, which is going to be kind of the divider between that shot and the ramp that goes in between here.
Yep, good. Single drop there. That looks good.
Yep, we got the single drop in place. The kickback is in place. All the ball guides are good. Got the Vuck back here that feeds the truck lock.
Okay. Is that a single drop going to be good for like ball placement for the back orbit there?
This one
It
here?
looks like it's going to hold the ball there. And
Yep. I have that drawn up in the sketch, so if I unhide the sketch and we go to the top view, you can see where that would actually sit in relation.
Okay.
And then I had to do a little bit of movement down here with the single drop because of brackets for the drop bank and everything, as well as the horizontal spinner. So like it pushed back into the orbit just a little bit, but that's fine. Like it's still in a hittable spot. And if we look on the underside, like you can see why I had to do that, because the brackets kind of got to butt up right next to each other to be able to fit all that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the CAD so far. I need to export the DXFs and submit the order to SendCut. I'm just not looking forward to the expense of that. But I'll get that all ordered, and then I'll work on cutting out your version 2 whitewoods for everyone on the team, and then I'll ship the whitewood, the flat pack of the sheet metal that I get from SendCut, so you guys can all start building your own copies without artwork.
Did you see the spinner in is the bomb channel and somewhere else? Like I don't know
horizontal?
If that's yeah, I don't know if it's the same size as what that was.
I feel like the whole size is probably different than, I don't know what Jaws or like Totan have, but the one we have in here right now is 2 3/4 diameter. I was planning on just custom designing a horizontal spinner mech that kind of mimics the mechanical function of those mechs. I mean, I feel like we can do it whatever size we need to be honest. And it is pushed out a little bit more center now because it has to be out in front of the bracket of the 3-bank.
Right.
But it's still not in a spot where it terribly interferes with like shots off of that left flipper.
Mm-hmm. I guess when we want to do off-the-shelf components, what's the pro to having a custom designed spinner mech?
You're not going to find an off-the-shelf horizontal spinner mech, to be honest. Not like readily available with extreme amount of quantities.
We can't do Jaws or...
We
just for the sizing.
We could, but again, like how many does Marco have in stock for that? And when that runs out, what do our Patreon supporters or anyone who's following this project, what do they do to make their own? So I feel like...
Hey, Ernie, get some in stock.
I feel like that kind of stuff we need to try to have a custom design on backup or as primary.
But like it still means we could choose the same size. Then it would be faster for right now.
And if you don't get a Jaws mech, you could do the custom build and they could flip-flop them or whatever, maybe. This is a good discussion for Ernie because he's going to be talking for Marco and stuff, and we could just kind of lean on him to do 50 of everything we make here, and if 50 run out, then we have 50 awesome bootleggers in the field, I guess.
It's pretty crazy. I am honestly a little concerned with how much it's going to block, how much we've talked, like the fish hook.
If it's a single post, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
If we do a double post, it'll definitely block it. But if we do a single post, the positioning of that will be sometimes in the way, sometimes not. I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Yep. We actually want this one.
What is that left hole?
This left hole here? It's for your face.
Ooh.
That left hole is going to be for a rotating platter.
Yeah.
Think like Mechagodzilla with the rotating platter, except different stuff incorporated into it. Right now I have it planned for 3 stand-up targets in those spots there. And then right here would be ideally some sort of a saucer with like a 30-degree eject or something like that. where you can like rotate the platter and determine where it ejects. And then on the right side here is the part that's still up into up in the air, up for question, debate, whatever. I don't know how English works. I was thinking about doing like a drop ramp where it's like it's above the play field horizontally like 1.5 inches, but then you can drop the flap down in the way of the ball path to feed a ramp. And then this whole platter rotates so that now this drop ramp flap can actually be in a position where it intercepts the kickback coming down this way here. So I wanted to try to find a way where we could like rotate the platter and really change the flow of the game.
Yeah, I've been thinking about how to build this mech too, and I think I've got a pretty good idea. We could have like a small DC motor with a worm gear, and then there could be like a gear hub on the bottom of this mech that has teeth on it, and then the worm gear would kind of lock it in position, and then we could use a DC motor instead of a stepper motor, and it'd be a lot cheaper. Yeah. And the worm gear is pretty robust for that kind of situation.
It's just like 2 limit switches or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we really only need like 2 positions with this platter. One where it's currently at, and then one where it intercepts the kickback.
Mm-hmm.
Moog, have you ever used the quadrature encoded DC motors?
Have you built a board that reads the count for the quadrature encoder?
Yeah.
Great. It's something that I'd mentioned previously, but
Nerd fight.
No, I have not used those. I'm aware of them, but they just seem like a stepper motor to me or something else. I know that they're slightly different.
Yeah, we just have one of our customers is using them in a game now. So for a big platter, much heavier than this one.
Nice. I see the benefits. I wasn't aware that we had a board that read quadrature encoder output though, so that's good to know.
Now you are.
Yeah, that's.
Because when we build together, we forge what's next.
There it is.
Like the features that like until people ask for them, we don't put them in yet. So when these guys ask for them, yeah. So Eli's writing that code right now.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. Makes sense.
Cool. Any scares when you guys look at this? Anything that you're worried about when it comes to like ball guides or any of that stuff? I feel like I designed most of it pretty intelligently, but I could be mistaken.
Looks good, dude.
Yeah, I love it, Kyle. My only concern is you're doing a lot of the design, and I'm hoping I can step up my game here and maybe do the platter mech and the truck.
Yeah, I'm
take
counting
kind
on
of some
you.
load off your shoulders.
I'm counting on you for especially the truck, the platter mech, the rotation of that. I think is going to be important too. The shots on the top side of that, I think, is like a team discussion on what we think is fitting for the game. My proposal, I feel like could be good, but we don't know yet if it's going to be fun to shoot.
You know what? I'll start that mech with just a flat, maybe like a pin board, and we can like screw stuff to the like a. I'll start with a rotating platter, and then we can like screw stuff to the top of it and play with it.
Okay, cool, sweet. Well, I'll get the sheet metal stuff ordered. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning. And then this week, my goal is to actually get this playfield CNC cut out. I tried to be a little bit forward thinking in like hole placement. So like back in here, we have some extra holes for like some standoffs or some GI or some places to feed harnesses up through, things of that nature. Nothing's planned yet, but I tried to incorporate those holes so when we mount the truck above, we have places to feed things up through the playfield to it.
Okay.
And then I've got the diverter here for the truck lock as well, so the hole's there for that.
Oh, right.
If you could, in the team channel, point me to something that is purchasable for diverter mech that like you used on Turbo Time, that'd be good.
I'll post a link in the bomb channel.
Okay. And then I have all the
And
GI
that's,
holes
left. Yep.
already in here as well as pass-through holes for more harnesses. But I've got all the GI holes up along here. Again, another pass-through for harness here. And then, like, anywhere where we need to light up plastics, I have GI, and then I have GI down on the lower third as well. So I'm trying to plan ahead for as much as possible with this.
This looks fantastic, Kyle.
It does. Nice job.
Cool.
Nice job.
Cool. Well, and this will pay dividends in the long run, too, because as we put together documentation on how to build your own copy of this game for people watching or watching after the fact, we have a model that we can reference and put together, like, instructions with a physical CAD file, right?
Mhm.
Instead of, like, trying to point and then draw on the screen with crayons. Like, here, push your bolt here. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, that's what I worked on this weekend.
Ernie just hopped on. We want to give him a
No.
2 minutes. No.
Is
Elevator
he
speech?
seriously here
Right.
now?
Is that the
Yes,
poly-
I'm here now. It's better than never.
Oh, now we can get started.
Yeah.
Are
Elevator,
you still streaming? Are
elevator
you still
speech,
streaming, or is it off stream?
Oh, we're
what you- what was
streaming.
the mode I-
We're off stream, Ernie. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
No.
Let it be public,
I
Ernie.
don't fall.
No,
I don't
no, we
fall
are not.
for your.
We are not off stream. We are not off stream.
Only 27
live.
minutes past the end of the stream, and Ernie decides to join. I hope the internet takes note.
Ernie, what's your
Take
mode?
note. Take note for me spending time with my family at Disney World and going to dinner.
Disney World must be nice. You know what? I plan my dinners and vacations around the streams. That's my dedication.
What's your
I'm
mode?
sorry.
Ernie, what's your mode?
My mode?
Yeah, you got
Oh,
mode
Jim.
ideas?
Um,
No, he doesn't.
damn, just put me right on the spot.
Well, you had
The
homework to
mode
do.
is- It's past my bedtime is the mode.
No, we had already talked about some before, like the corn and rye and stuff like that. But no, I don't have anything specific.
Okay.
The backdoor thing, like the speakeasy mode selection, stuff like that.
See, somebody's worse than me. See?
We already
Told
talked
you
about
guys.
that.
I
Is
told
that
you
one-way
guys.
road?
This is the Ernie's Lost mode. He's just driving around like a madman.
I am actually kind of lost. It is extremely, extremely, extremely busy in Orlando right now.
You know where it's not busy? In Flint, Michigan. All right.
I believe it.
Now that we have Ernie's mode ideas documented live on the internet for everyone to remember, we can go ahead and wrap this up. I'll switch us back over to the Teams meeting scene here and get the view back up to round table. So we got the crew here. Ernie decided to join us late. Hopefully we sounded and looked okay tonight. Not too much chat interactivity tonight. Words are so tough for me. But we really do appreciate everyone who has been following along or that may be watching this after the fact. Let's go quick round table. Anything anyone wants to add or interject here before we wrap up?
I think this game's really coming together.
I do too. Like, it feels like a real game. Like, I mean, this is getting really advanced. Like, there's no like, oh, they're a cute little effort. I mean, this is turning into a really cool project.
Yeah,
I didn't doubt it, but like, it's cool.
We got a strong team on the case. Cool.
Good
All right.
team.
Big thank you to everyone on the team for joining tonight. Ernie, you can probably just end the call because you were useless.
Yeah.
No, JK. Really appreciate all you guys for joining tonight. Anyone who watched the video on YouTube or Twitch, thank you for following along. Please like, comment, subscribe, be part of the journey. If you haven't yet, please join our Discord. You can be part of the community, interact with us, throw your ideas on the table. We welcome any and all ideas. This is a project that is open source, built by the community for the community. That's why we're doing this. There is no requirement whatsoever for you to support us financially, but if you do feel a need to do so, you can do so with Patreon or PayPal. Links are in the description on our YouTube channel description. Or you can go to pinforgepinball.com to find the links to that as well. If you need more information on this project or are curious, you can also find that information on PinForge or reach out to us. PinForge Pinball, or reach out to us on that same website. There's an email contact form there as well. So thank you everybody for joining. This is wrapping it up here for PinForge Pinball tonight, because when we build together, we forge what's next. Thank you and good night.